Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. We're just gonna start the stream a little bit early. I know we'll just let people trickle in, and yeah, you can just populate your questions in the chat. We'll go through them quickly, and yeah, hopefully we'll have a good start to match day 4. I clearly have 3 Spanish players. I don't think it's outrageous to have 3 Spanish players, but I think general recommendation for most people is you don't need to go Sabal. You definitely don't need to go for Llorente either. Those are kind of just personal choices, right? Just backing Spain. Nothing more than that, really. I think there are better picks that are closer. I still think Llorente is good as long as he keeps the scout bonus. If he loses it, he'll probably leave my team. Pulisic has actually just hit 5%, but I still think he's a very good option for this match day. So I think I might stick with him, unless Llorente also goes up, a little bit further of what I think he will get in ownership. Then maybe I can make a couple changes. Like, I could see myself maybe going. I could go for someone like a Leroy Sané potentially. Not that I love sort of the Sané pick, but I could go there, or I could go, let's say, Dani Olmo or something like that. And that would still give me scout bonus. Alistair Johnson is a fantastic pick. Yeah, 100%. Cannot figure if Molina and or Medina starts. They should both start, right? Medina's the left back, Molina's the right back. Nice to see you. Let's go. I activated 12th man chip Harry Kane. Ooh, okay, that's pretty interesting. What's the better defense? Like, don't you want to keep Harry Kane in your team, generally speaking? What's the better defensive pair, Brown and O'Reilly or Munoz and Dest? I think Munoz and Dest might be better. Brown and O'Reilly's technically better in terms of qualification chances, I suppose. Can you Savetti or Saviti? Sorry. Nice to see you. Top lad. Due over Teo? Yeah, that's what I've gone with. I mean, I could also move back into Teo, right? If Llorente goes above 5% ownership, I could move back into Teo. Is the Orzwell kit necessary for luck? It is. It is. Teo's a good option. He certainly is. Is a double up of Sanchez and Munoz viable? Why Pulisic and not McKennie? I mean, Pulisic is a lot more attacking as a player. I mean, McKennie having higher points so far is simply because Pulisic hasn't played that much football, right? I mean, we never build teams because of what they've done so far, really. It's just about kind of predicting ahead of things like that. Haaland or Kane? I would probably go with Kane. Fries Vargas, Konsa Molina, Ta. Yeah, I mean, that's a strong team. Or Sabal or Kane? I probably would still go with Kane. Jakob, thank you. Great content all week. Have you had? I hope you have a good gaming too. Same with you. Do you feel scouting bonus will be forgotten now for the remainder of the tournament? No, not at all. I think, I think on defense it won't be forgotten. In the midfield and attack, I can kind of see it going. Cucurella is not a waste of funds. I mean, I'm spending more money to get another Spanish defender as well. Poro's gonna start. I don't really think so. I think it's very clear who our first right back is. Very much like the France situation as well. Why is Pulisic not guaranteed then? What do you mean by that? Sorry. I mean, he already played 30 minutes against Turkey, so he should be fine to start. If you move out of Teo, then who would I move Due to? It could be Dani Olmo. How sure am I about Molina and Medina? Yeah, I'm very sure about them. I think they should start most of the games from here on out. I guess Molina's a little bit more uncertain because they have a little bit more depth there, like Montiel, but it seems like Medina is preferred. No Canadian players? Yeah, I guess I ultimately thought I can probably still pick teams that have a better chance at winning the round of 16 match. Manzambi and Vargas are a boy. Should they go with one? Yeah, but Manzambi went above the scout bonus, and Vargas I could still get to be fair. Why Llorente? Scout bonus. Molina or Martinez? I'd probably go Molina. Scout bonus and cheaper. Consa Molina, Tateo Llorente. Would you move to any Swiss or Canadian defense or Douglas Souza? I probably wouldn't go Douglas. I think that defense is fine, to be honest. I'm not sure if I love Ta. I know he has scout bonus, so that makes Ta really good for match day 4. But I think Due X minutes are definitely not great, but I'm still willing to kind of risk it, I suppose. I think generally speaking, France will probably concede to Sweden. And I'd rather have more on France attack than less. I can still see myself, I guess, if I drop Pulisic, I could go an Elise structure, basically. And then I could bin off Pulisic as well, but I don't know if I like that. No more Chris Richards, back to Dest. I never had Chris Richards in my team, but I mean, I think he's a wonderful pick. I just think looking at the odds, like Dest's anytime goal assist is kind of like absolutely mental. What happened to Crepeau? Ultimately, I think Colombia ended up in the bracket that we thought they would get to, and that's a nice part of the bracket. So I've gone into Vargas because I do think at the end of the day, Colombia is a better defense than Canada, and they have a better chance of faring better in the round of 16 than Canada, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on Enzo's punt? I think he's a very solid punt. Why Yamal? I mean, I guess why not, really, at the end of the day. His minutes look good now. Hopefully he's ramped up enough to do well. That's pretty much it. Is Dembele over Elise smart? I mean, Dembele being hit or miss is not really a problem, right? Because you're going to have a couple goes at France on paper. Like, in theory, you should have 2 games with the French picks. Or all of them, really, within your team. No Germans, yeah, just because of the round of 16. Kind of want to avoid. Basically, I think all the teams that I've picked here on paper are, I think, expected to do better in the round of 16 than, like, I don't know, let's say a Canada or a Germany, for example. Like, even USA versus Belgium I don't think is that lopsided in favor of Belgium. Do I think Ream is a good option? I think so, but I think Chris Richards is cheaper, right? Or am I wrong? So he probably is better. Is Tagliafico a likely starter? I don't think so. I think Medina is likely to start, actually. Pulisic even without scouting bonus. I think he's just about good enough. Because if you actually look at the goal odds for all the midfielders, if you look at the goal odds, like I kind of just think that Pulisic is totally fine to go with anyways without scout bonus. He's like a top 5 midfielder. Like he's got the same goal odds as Vinny to score today. Not today, I mean, but just in this match day. Trying to think what my alternative, and the problem is like the alternative picks would be like I don't really want to spend more money, for example, on I don't know, let's say a German pick, right? So yeah, not ideal. Stick with Manzambi or no? I think you can stick with Manzambi because the whole point of Manzambi is just to make sure that you can cut down on your budget, right? Do I use qualification booster? That's up to you. I mean, I'm using qualification booster. Am I scared of no Kane? Not really, no. Stick with Manzambi or no since SP's gone? Just answer that question. Jonathan David's a really good pick. I guess the problem with Jonathan David is, let's say if Jonathan David, I guess it's like, how would you replace Jonathan David with a like for like? Probably a bit difficult, I guess. But I don't really expect them to get knocked out in the first round. Is Molina nailed or not? I think he should be nailed. I kind of think Molina, Llorente, and Teo Hernandez are kind of all in the similar camp where they're the starting right backs or left backs in their teams, and ultimately they should be fine to kind of continue starting games because you're now at the knockout stages of the competition where people are just going to play seriously. Mbappe, what do you mean? Rob TG. Hey Rob, no wildcard, but would you take out Hakimi or Dumfries? I would take out Hakimi because I think the Dutch have a higher chance of progressing. So yeah, that's the player that I would go with. What about Saliba from Canada? I mean, what, because he scored a free kick? I don't really think he's got that much upside. Is Trossard a good pick? He definitely is. Why do we not Elise? I mean, money reasons mostly. And I think I can gamble a start. This seems like an unpopular opinion, but I'd be shocked if Molina wasn't more nailed than Medina. What do you mean? Like, as in you think Tagliafico is more likely to play? I mean, what does it have to do? Like, why does the left back position have anything to do with the right back position? I guess. Is Spence an option? Yeah, he certainly is. He certainly is. I mean, did Tuchel actually talk about Kwanzaa? Let me actually read the comments. He said he suffered a classic ankle twist, apparently. I don't know. Spence is probably perfectly fine. Bruno G is definitely a decent pick. Douay or Trossard? I probably would prefer Douay. I mean, I'd rather triple up on France, and France generally have a higher chance of progressing anyways. What is qualification booster? So let's just read it together. All players in your team who qualify for the next round will receive a +2 bonus points boost. So in theory, like whatever your final 11 is, as long as they all qualify, will get an additional 2 points. And Zambi, Kane, or Yamal, Kane, Yamal Balogun. I'm kind of confused what the question is, though. Sorry. So are you saying... Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Are you saying Kane or Yamal Balogun? Like, well, what do you mean? Is Bellingham a good option? Yeah, he certainly is a great option. Doomfree, Hakimi, Munoz, or Kimmich? I definitely would go Munoz out of those options. He's got the best chance of progressing to the round of 16. And to be honest, has a better game than Doomfries and Hakimi. Maybe a worse game than Kimmich marginally, but I mean, he's also got that attacking potential, right? You got the same team apart from you've got Bellingham instead of Pulisic and Balogun instead of Orzabal. That makes sense. Or Seth, thank you so much for the super chat. Or say, sorry, I'm not sure if that's the best way to pronounce it, but thank you. Yeah, if you sent it in chat, chat as in. Is it in Rate My Team? Sorry, so or sorry, where have you dropped the team? I apologize. Oh, you've dropped it in chat. Okay, so you've got Freeze, Vargas, Das, Molina, Cucurella, Munoz, Medina, Dembele, Manzambi, Doué, Vinny Jr., Lamine Yamal, Haaland, Mbappe, Messi. Yeah, I mean, that's a great team. I don't really have too many complaints. I guess obviously it has a lack of England, but it doesn't really matter because you still have like primarily like let's say teams like Spain and etc. who have a good chance of progressing as well. So yeah, no real complaints. That's a great draft. That's a great draft. No Germany for qualification boost. I mean, Germany have basically the same chances of qualifying compared to most of the other teams that I've picked. Maybe slightly more in terms of percentage. But at the end of the day, for example, like USA and Germany have basically the same odds to progress, but I guess USA probably have a better chance of actually like getting past Belgium. Maybe I'm biased, but I think they've got a better chance of getting past Belgium and maybe even getting a result at least so I can get some points from their players than let's say Germany has against France. I guess, and that's my opinion. So that I think is why I ultimately don't have too many Germany players in my team. So the progression odds we can actually also share as well. Let me just. Can just put it into. So these are the progression odds, right? We can just have a look at it together. Yeah, I mean, the way that I see it is you can, like, if you think about it, Argentina are gonna, you should triple up on them anyways. England, I think, is probably worth a double or triple up. Spain will face against Portugal, but they're going to be favored versus Portugal. So it's a different situation to Germany, for example. France, I'm tripled up on, and I think they're favored versus Germany. So it's kind of similar to the Spain example, where Spain are favored versus Portugal, France are favored versus Germany. USA are, I don't think are necessarily favored versus Belgium, but it's just going to be a lot closer of a tie in my eyes. So and they're also cheaper, right? So for example, like there's no like for like replacement for Dest in the German national team in the defensive position. I know Brown is quite cheap, but I don't even know 100% if he's going to make it to that game. And then Pulisic, I think, is also, I would prefer Pulisic over Sane at this moment in time. I do like a lot of the Colombian picks, so I think, yeah, where do I think I'm missing out in my draft? Probably a couple Colombian picks and things like that, but just, yeah, just wanted to show the progression odds. What about Embolo? I'm not super locked in on Doué. He can definitely go. Molina did not play the first game. Yeah, but I think Molina is generally first choice. Most people think Medina is more nailed than Molina has reason to go Medina over Molina, is what I mean. Whereas I think Tagliafico's first choice. I mean, how come Tagliafico's first choice though? Especially if he doesn't play any of the important games. Fran, people keep saying Llorente might not start as the manager prefers Porro more. I don't think that's true, because if the manager actually preferred Porro more, he would have just played him versus Uruguay, where we went full strength. How do I know Llorente will start? That's just my feeling about the Spanish national team. I'd be quite shocked if Llorente didn't start. I mean, if you watch the match as well, Llorente was one of our best defenders. Araujo is probably Uruguay's best attacker, and he defended really, really, really well. I think it's, as I said at the start of the tournament, it's clear that Llorente is our right back. The same thing as like Teo as well. Whereas I think even if you look at, for example, the Montiel situation in Matchday 1, I'm pretty sure Montiel got subbed at halftime for Molina, right? And then Molina played the next game. So I think that's a fairly clear indication of that. Why did I change Teo? Just moved to Doué in my team. What do you think about Rashford, Bellingham? I think they're both solid picks, to be honest. It just depends on like whether you think ultimately you think like England are going to score a lot of goals, right? Because I think if you look at England so far, once again, they've kind of regressed to being a little bit more of a defensive team, like defensively solid team. Did I lose trust in Canada? Not necessarily, I think. I think I ultimately just decided, okay, I'd rather pick more teams that have a better round of 16. Pulisic, I mean, he has to be 100% nailed unless he's injured. Yeah, Llorente was man of the match. Yeah, I mean, if anyone watched that game, they know Llorente's, I think, a much better defender than Porro anyways. And so when you're going against more world-class attackers, Llorente is just going to keep starting. Bellingham or Bruno Guimaraes? I'd probably prefer Bellingham myself. How fit is Yamal? I mean, he literally played 75 minutes last game, so I can't see why his X-Spins won't be good. We literally don't have any other wingers as well. Like Victor Munoz hasn't played football. Yermi Pino's injured. Nico Williams is injured. Baena isn't even a winger, but he's playing left wing. So I think Medina will play. Is this my lock team? It's fairly close to it. Just saw in a big French media that Dean will be starting instead of. I mean, what's the media source for that? Am I risking both Medina and Molina? I'm not really sure what's the risk though, if that makes sense. I feel like most of the time, like big teams will rotate in some positions where they think the deputy is actually good enough. But generally, when you just go into knockout football, you just play the one player, right? Like last World Cup, you had the same thing where Montiel also played a group stage game, but then eventually Molina just plays every game. Is Manzambi still worth it with no scouting bonus? I think he's still worth it. Justification for not having Holland. I mean, there's no real justification. He's a great pick. I just think Norway have a pretty difficult run, regardless. Sources Canal Plus Dean plays. I mean, most of the French sources that I've seen still suggest it's a Teo Hernandez start. Olise? I mean, Olise is a great pick. Pulisic to me is still worth it without scouting bonus, so I probably will still have him. Avoid Teo. Yeah, I mean, it seems like what Canal Plus is. Canal Plus. I mean, I don't even have Teo, so I don't even know why I'm arguing it here. But yeah, it seems like most people still think that Teo is the one, but that Dean can easily take that spot. Spain looks shaky. Spain, like shaky in what sense? I mean, we're against Austria, not a more difficult team. Canal Plus posted that Teo's not starting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm actually checking into it now. I mean, fair enough, yeah. I mean, would you guys go Luka Dean based on that? Please don't spam chat. We're the best cheap goalkeepers. Fries, Vargas, Chaubert from Egypt, Crepeau from Canada as well. I know Elise. No particular reason. I prefer Dembele, that's all. If Llorente surpasses the scouting bonus, will you keep him over Cucurella? I probably will actually just drop both of them. When are we predicted to get the next update for the ownership? Let me have a look. So let me see. So the last update was in 04. So the next update is probably going to happen in around 20 minutes, which we can find out. Obviously, Pulisic went down a lot. Cons has been rising quite a fair bit, hour to hour. So over the last 5 hours, I think Cons has gone up around 0.5%, but we know that the ownerships can go quite sharp. Is Molina nailed? I think he's nailed, but you know, I don't like. It's up to you really, depending on how you think about it. What about Doan? He's listed as a defender. Yeah, I mean, Doan's exceptional, but yeah, I think Brazil's very difficult. Olise is not injured at all. Thoughts on the same team, but having Bellingham instead of Pulisic, that's fine, and David instead of Orzabal, that's also fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Hi, Fran. Your screen shows MD3 instead of MD4. Oh, that's a good point. Sorry. Okay, I need to fix that actually. Quality booster applies to all 15 players. Yes, but obviously, like you're just gonna sub in and sub out players as well, right? So yeah, in theory, remember the quality booster doesn't impact the scout bonus thing either. Oh, that's weird. Actually, where have I? Oh, it hasn't updated. I need to change the screen graphic. Give me one sec. This should hopefully be it. Oh, what's wrong? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out why my screen's not updating. Ah, there we go. Okay. I mean, it seems like Luka Dean will be the starter. There will be no under 5% owned players by the deadline. Anyway, they'll be rare. Yeah, I mean, it's quite rare regardless. How many points do I have right now? I don't know. I think it's like 200. No, it's like 3. I mean, let me just quickly calculate that in my head. Okay. Yeah, I think 311 points. Why no German players? Mostly because of the matchup versus France in the round of 16. How essential is Vinny? I mean, I think it's just that there's not enough good midfielders who are at his level, basically. So I think I wouldn't say he's essential, but I think he's a very, very strong pick. How many transfers do we get each round after this? I mean, let me just quickly refresh. I think it's 4 or 5 each. I think it's 4, then 4, then 5, then 6. All right, sorry, just responding to some private chat messages from some members. Round 32. Have I made a mistake on something? Sorry. Is Munoz a good pick? Munoz is a wonderful pick. He's an amazing pick. I mean, I probably need to think about what am I doing if Llorente goes over 4.8. I mean, I guess I could just go Spence. How much is Luka Dean? He's 5 mil. Okay, interesting. I don't know. The problem with Luka Dean as well is like, could he get subbed off earlier as well? Would you pick Munoz over Molina / Medina? I'd probably pick him over Medina. I probably wouldn't pick him over Molina. What are my subs? I mean, this is my full team, so the subs are just going to be based on order of play and who does well, who does bad. Kane, Somerville versus Bellingham, Cunha. Probably prefer Bellingham, Cunha. Does qualification bonus count as return? And will it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't count towards your scouting bonus. I mean, it counts as a return though, of course. Like it will just get added on to the player's points. But for example, say a player has 4 points and they have the qualification boost, it doesn't mean that they get 6 points so that the scouting bonus works, right? So they'll still get 4 points plus the 2 points and they'll stay at 6 points. They won't get 8 points. What about Bruno G? Still a very good pick, yep. Why isn't FIFA providing a prize pool for this competition? No idea, really. If I had to replace Llorente and Cucurella, who should I focus on? I have Descons and Medina right now. I was thinking Nico Rally and Jed Spence. I think those are great options. Do you think it's crazy to go Dani Olmo over Yamal? Not really. I mean, I've considered it myself. If it is 4 free transfers, then why not at least one German player? But I guess, like, why do I need one German player? Like, what is the advantage of that? If that makes sense. Like, just to have a German captaincy is that what you're saying? The thing about it, you have to think about this too, though. It's like the more different teams you invest into, the higher of a chance that I guess you're picking more selections of players that technically don't qualify, if that makes sense. Because you're kind of relying on multiple teams to qualify as opposed to a few teams to qualify. So it's kind of like, for example, when you pick too many different defenders from different teams. What would you point threshold to be sub both Argentina defenders on, given they play last? To be honest, the Argentina defenders literally have a points expectation of around 6 points. I would think maybe around 5 to 6 points. So that's kind of the threshold. Anything like below 5, I would probably be willing to sub an Argentina defender on. What do you think about Undav? I mean, I don't know. I just think Nagelsmann just seems like he's very confident that Undav is a sub for him. So I'm not really to pick someone who's a sub. No, you meant you like defender doesn't get a CS or GA but qualifies to the next round. Do they get both scouting? This is what I'm trying to say. Like, they don't get the scouting bonus is just, yeah, you don't, as I already explained to you, like, you don't get the scouting bonus based on what you do from the qualification booster. You get the qualification booster and it's separate, right? So the whole idea is like the scouting bonus is based on non-qualification booster points, and that's it. They don't operate together. Balogun and Saka, those are solid. I don't really love Saka, to be honest. It just doesn't seem like he's very fit. Is Lisandro Martinez locked? He should be locked to play, yeah. I think they just expect that there might be upsets, and if you have 3 players, you just miss out on 6 points. Yeah, but that's the thing though, right? It's like let's say you pick a team that has an 80% chance of progressing, that's 80%. Whereas if you pick 3 teams that have an 80% chance of progressing, it's actually quite likely that 1 out of the 3 of those options will actually flop more so than the just picking 3 straight up. Who do I support in club level? Real Madrid. The cheat sheet was amazing. Thank you so much, LBJ. I really do appreciate that. And thank you everyone who's watched the cheat sheet as well. If you guys want to spend a little bit of time like looking at picks that are not my picks and kind of just think about the game and kind of what the options are available to you, have a look at the cheat sheet video as well. We spent a lot of time on that. So thank you guys so much for the support on that. You can explain it like captaincy doesn't get you the scouting bonus. Yes, exactly. It is like that. Although the thing is, if you think about it, for example, like the confusion, I guess, is, for example, let's say you use the clean sheet booster chip next match day. You know, that does feed into captaincy. That does feed into scout bonus as well. So we don't get any scout bonus this round if my qualification bonus is activated. No. Okay, so you can always get scouting bonus no matter what. It's just that the qualification booster points don't add up into the total. It doesn't form a part of the calculation for the scout bonus. That's it. Let's do a simple example, right? Let's do a simple example. So let's say Llorente gets an assist, but somehow Spain concede 2 goals to Austria. So in this situation, he would have 4 points, right? So because Spain beat Austria, let's say 3-1 as an example, or no, because I'm saying Llorente is conceding 2 goals. Okay, let's say Spain beat Austria 4-2, right, as an example. So Llorente gets 4 points, but he actually gets 6 points because he qualifies for the next stage of the tournament. So he gets 6 points there. But because he only got 4 points, you know, without the qualification booster bonus, he doesn't get scout bonus. But let's say Spain actually won and beat Austria 4-1, and Llorente got the assist. So that means Llorente would have got 5 points, which means that he gets scout bonus as well, which means he gets 7 points plus the additional 2 points from qualification bonus. So it's 9. Yeah, qualification booster is added after the fact. Cheat sheet was great. Thank you so much. What about Somerville? I just think at the end of the day, you probably don't really want to go into the Netherlands-Morocco game because that's one of the matches that is closest to a 50-50, right? Because if we go back to our graphic in terms of the progression, so you can see here, Netherlands have a 60% chance of progressing. That means obviously Morocco have a 40% chance of progressing. But I think the key thing to say here is that there are basically 12 teams that have a better chance of progressing than the Netherlands. Technically 11 if you want to say the Norway and Netherlands have the same chance, right? So once you pick more players that have a sub 70, sub 80% chance of qualifying, you're putting yourself in a, generally speaking, worse spot. You know, because you're kind of like less guaranteed to get those additional 2 points. And the implication of that is it is just going to be a tougher fixture on paper, right? You don't know if Netherlands would blow apart Morocco or vice versa. Like Morocco could absolutely win. But the point is, like, right now our expectations is that it's not like Netherlands will absolutely walk over a team like Morocco or that Morocco will walk over Netherlands. So there's no real reason to pick them unless you have you're completely certain. For example, let's say the markets are wrong, or that you just think that, you know, we're all kind of looking at that fixture incorrectly. Manzambi or Bellingham? I would go Bellingham, obviously, with Manzambi not having scout bonus anymore. Why does the bench not automatically swap DNP? The problem is because I think the idea is the bench auto subs only happen if you have made 0 manual changes. Once you have made manual changes, it forces you to make a lot of changes. Why Kwanzaa over Spence? I mean, Kwanzaa is just the center back and he has scout bonus. I guess my thing with Spence is maybe like Kwanzaa, the center back could, or slash right back could obviously take his position later down the line in the tournament. Why Kwanzaa over O'Reilly? Scout bonus. Do you have a plan to get Hakimi / Dumfries for South Africa / Canada game? I mean, like once they win, sure, we'll have a plan for that. Well, I know England players because round of 16. I mean, I've got one English player. I mean, I could go more with England. I'm obviously just backing Spain. A little bit of bias there. I probably, let's say if I didn't have Llorente, I might have like O'Reilly, for example. And I can still technically afford Dest to O'Reilly, but I kind of think I prefer Dest for Matchday 4. Yeah, Llorente is predicted to start. Who's kinda was injured, sorry? Konsa was injured. What do you mean, like in the game versus Panama? Was he injured? I'm confused. You guys are you're confusing Konsa with Kwanzaa. There's 2 players. So Konsa is the center back and Kwanzaa is the right back. Would you consider having Kane? Of course I'd consider having Kane, but I don't really care about having Kane. I mean, Kane I think is a better pick than Oyarzabal, but I don't really care. And Oyarzabal is cheaper at the end of the day. Will Mojica start? I think, yeah, both Mojica and Munoz should start. No Holland after all. Yeah, but I don't think you necessarily need to do that. Kimmich is solid for sure. You think Llorente bench for Porro? Why do you think Llorente played versus Uruguay then? Thoughts on Baena as a differential with scouting bonus? I think he's solid, but honestly, as a Spaniard, I really don't think Baena is a very good player. Olmo, I think, is solid, but it does seem like De La Fuente doesn't totally love him, or at least is trying to give minutes to like as many players as possible. Yeah, exactly. Kwanzaa got injured, not Konsa, which obviously means that Spence can play. Thoughts on Saliba from Canada? As I said, I mean, he scored a free kick, but other than that, I'm not really that intrigued by Saliba. You're struggling to make a team? What are you struggling with, like, generally speaking, as a concept? Reason why you rent it over Kukurea? Scout bonus. Kit kind of looks like North Macedonia. All right, fair enough. Well, it is Spain kid. Fran, Due, or Isabel, or Elise Balogun? I mean, Elise Balogun's great as well. Balogun's like a really strong scout bonus pick. I just probably want triple Spain myself. Who takes penalties for Spain? I think it should be Yamal. Then Oyarzabal. Davies might play left wing. Is Davies actually predicted to start? That would be my concern. I don't know how likely Davies is going to start. Because also, like, if you think about it, like, I guess South Africa is a game where it's not 100% essential that you, like, rush Davies back onto the pitch. I know he played a few minutes in the previous game, but still. Or actually, did he even play a few minutes in that game? Because let me actually have a look. Can't even remember. I actually kind of stopped watching the game after Manzambi came off. Yeah, Davies didn't even get onto the pitch, so I can't really see how Davies is going to start, personally. I'm being too Spain biased. I mean, the whole point of the game is to have fun. It's literally the World Cup. You don't win anything for this game. Other players you would have considered if you had the budget. I mean, I guess I'd rather have Elise than Due on paper. I mean, Kane, I guess. That's kind of it, really. I suppose Munoz is a great pick too, but it's not really a budget constraint. It's more of a constraint of like you can only have 5 defenders. There's a lot of good defenders in this stage, right? Basically, any Argentina defender is great. Any English defender is great. Any attacking sort of fullback that has a good fixture is great. So Dest is a good. I mean, he's not even a fullback; he's a right winger. Llorente, scout bonus for a good country with good clean sheet odds is also great. Yeah, I can put Kukurea in, but it's like I don't really care about saving 0.5 if that makes sense. Like I don't need that money if that makes sense. And I prefer the scout bonus. Is Dest still starting right wing? Yeah, of course he is. Can't really see why that would change for the USA. Thoughts on David as a pick? He's very good. Kane or Holland? I think Holland. I prefer Holland for this match day, but I guess if you're thinking long haul, long term planning, Kane's probably better because of better chances to progress, generally speaking. Why not Cunha for Brazil? I just think Brazil have a tough game, to be honest, and I already have Vinny. You understand the triple choices and the probable winners around a 30, round of 16, but isn't it also a risk that if one of those teams get eliminated, you have to make more subs? Why not to England, for example? I mean, I guess if I go to England, it's just the same logic that sort of way around as well. You think Holland's a better pick than Kane? I don't really disagree with that, to be honest. As I said, I think Holland's probably actually better for this match day, but then Kane actually gives you better chances of, like, I guess, not having to make multiple moves. What would be my changes for match day 5? I mean, there's not really any. I mean, like, look, if everything goes to plan, I don't really have to make too many changes to my team. Maybe all I would do is try to get towards quadruple Argentina. Maybe go double triple England as well. Yeah. But it depends. Like, I don't even know the results. Like, I mean, Brazil could lose to Japan. I can't really see too many other upsets in my team. Fran, how do we set up the starting 11? Like, go balance 4-4-2? No, just start whoever plays first. So that's the order. Yeah, your 15 should be 11 of the players who start first. Who's asking the same question? I could use some moderators in the chat, to be fair, but I don't think anyone's spamming too hard right now. Do I care about Bellingham? Yeah, of course. He's a very good pick. Yeah, I've used qualification booster chip. Sorry, so this is obviously how my team is laid out. We'll get... Oh, actually, let's refresh the web page because I think the ownership should have changed again, right? Ooh, okay. So Consta shot up 0.3%. Llorente stayed the same. Pulisic went 1% up. 0.1% up, sorry. Interesting. Do you think going Elise, Dembele, and Mbappe is overkill? Not really. I mean, I'm basically doing something quite similar. Yeah, actually, okay. I see what you mean. Manzambi, Kane, or Yamal with Balogun? Probably Yamal Balogun. But I have to mute you just because of the spam. Double counter defense, I think, is solid. Once again, though, I think the constraint with double counter defense is just the round of 16 fixture you're leaving yourself with. Why do you prefer Doué over Wirtz? Scout bonus, and I don't really like Germany as a team compared to France. Vinny went up to 40% and Santos went to 3%. I mean, Douglas Santos is still going to be a great pick, but I just think, like, I'm not really sure that I would pick Brazil for defense. Nice to see you, Doctor. Thoughts on Dembele versus Elise? I think Dembele is better than Elise because this game rewards you with more points for goals, and now that Dembele's basically shown us that he's got his shooting boots on, you probably think Dembele's just got better chances of getting more goals than Elise over the course of this tournament. And so far he has, but I just mean like going forwards as well. I think that's also the case. I can definitely have a look at Discord, Doctor. Oh, sorry about that. I mean, I think I would go for the right-hand side team. I'm going to be honest. Like, Mbappe, I think, is far clear of Ronaldo. I don't think it's even close. I don't even think Bruno's that good of a pick, if I'm honest. Like, I'd rather have Dembele over Bruno, but I know Bruno's a lot cheaper. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. I'd even rather have Luis Diaz over Bruno as well. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think that's just generally how I feel about it. Fran, Sane or Dembele? I mean, Dembele. Like the stream, definitely that does help a lot. Thank you guys. Will you change now, Pulisic? No, I won't. I think I was happy to keep him at 5%. I think the concern is over the next hour. I'm anticipating that Consta is actually going to go up over 5%. So what I need to plan for is like what to do with him. Pulisic, I'm hoping could actually drop sub 5. I don't know if people will actually intentionally kind of sell him though, at enough of a rate. Vinny or Belly? I would probably go Vinny over Bellingham. Just because I think Vinny's on pens. Do you reckon Doué starts? I do after that performance versus Norway. I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of gone like this, right? It's like, you know, if Doué has a good game, then he starts the next game. If Barcola has a good game, then he starts the next game. But I guess if Doué had a decent, basically, like, you know what, Barcola had a good cameo off the bench, and then suddenly Barcola starts match day 2, match day 3. Suddenly Doué has a good cameo off the bench in match day 3, and I think maybe Doué can start match day 4. But I know it's probably a risky pick, but then at the same time, you still have 4 free transfers, right? Interesting. It has Canal Plus posted anything about let's say Doué versus Barcola? Do you think Robbie could be a good pick? I think he could be solid just because of the price point. But I do think Balogun at a similar price is better than Robbie on paper. How come I took Trossard out? Because Belgium's match ended up being a lot tougher. I think Senegal's a lot tougher than, you know, at the time what could have been like Korea or something like that. Um, why not Martinez from Argentina? I think something people need to think about with the goalkeepers is you have two goalkeepers, right? So picking an extremely good goalkeeper is usually unnecessary in a game like this because you can change that goalkeeper at least half the time. Whereas let's say with a lot of the outfield players, there's a lot of chances for blanks, but like, for example, the attacking ceiling of an Argentina defender is definitely a lot higher than let's say Martinez because Argentina are not a team that should be facing a lot of shots. So Martinez won't make too many saves. He's also unlikely to be put in a position where he has to save a penalty unless it's obviously a much tougher fixture. So with Argentina having easier games, you'd rather have Molina and Medina who can actually get attacking returns. Like for example, Medina has already gotten literally an assist to Messi, right? For example, one of the goals versus Algeria, if I remember, was actually that. Hello. Easier to say what I disagree on rather than what I agree on since we agree on almost everything. Thank you, 420 FPL. I mean, I don't think we ever really disagree. And at the end of the day, you also understand that you're basically picking from like a pool of 20 to 30 players that you kind of love, right? So, but yeah. Wish you the best of luck. Do you see value in picking Pickford or Dibu Martinez? Once again, I think the goalkeeping position is one that I care the least about because if I look at my team here, I think Colombia have a good chance of making the round of 16. So I think that's already one goalkeeper there. And either way, the earliest that I really see myself making a goalkeeper change is in the round of 16, right? If I really don't have either a Colombian or USA goalkeeper. So yeah, it's not really a position that I would be spending a lot of transfers on. So yeah, that's why I feel like generally speaking, say for example, you went for like once you go for let's say Pickford and Martinez as well, like that's just like such a waste of a potential outfield player if they're both expected to do extremely well. And like a point of case or a point of logic, it's like a scouting bonus goalkeeper will get 9 points for a clean sheet, maybe 10. Whereas let's say a dominant team goalkeeper with high ownership will get around 6 or 7, right? So you gain 3 already effectively, or 2 to 3, let's say. And then if you let's say like have a flopping goalkeeper, it's likely that a goalkeeper who flops will actually make a couple of saves in a match because that's kind of implicit when you concede. So you put yourself in a situation where maybe it's like 3 versus 7. So you're really only maximally losing like 2 points, even if you don't use a goalkeeper transfer by let's say the quarterfinals. So yeah, I think it's totally fine. I do think Medina's nailed. I don't think Spain looked better with Porro at all. Ultimately, we were actually kind of dominated by Uruguay. Not dominated by Uruguay, but like we probably lost the ball like way too many times versus Uruguay, and I don't think Porro had anything to do with it. Ultimately, Porro played versus Saudi Arabia, and Llorente played versus Uruguay. That's pretty much it. And Llorente was one of our best players. Be Rich, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that, my friend. 420 saying Olise will outscore Dembele. I mean, you should put a bet on that, to be honest, because I'm fairly certain Dembele has better chances of goals and assists. Part of it too also is if you think about it, Dembele has higher expected goals than Olise, generally speaking. So in a game that actually rewards you with, let's say, more goals, more points for a goal, then I do think Dembele is clear as an option. But I do love Olise, and obviously I wish he joined Real Madrid. Thoughts on Trossard? Still fantastic. Why did it take off Johnson? Kind of just didn't really want to have. I still kind of prefer USA defense to Canadian defense, and that's pretty much it. What do you think of Vargas? Still a very solid pick, especially at the price point. We don't have too many scout bonus options. You're unsure on Pulisic longevity. I see your point. I just think that Pulisic over the next 2 matches will have a really good chance to score regardless. Even if he goes versus Belgium and he loses, he's still he's still one of the more likely players within that Belgium game to score. Whereas let's say if I pick a German pick like Sane, I don't think I feel super confident about Sane scoring versus France. I mean Narya Music, thank you so much for the super chat. You've got Jude, Dembele, Olise, and Vinny, and I have 9.2 million in the bank. Who should be the other midfielder in your opinion? 9.2 is tricky because obviously that doesn't get you towards Yamal. I would probably lean towards getting Luis Diaz. Or you can go differential and go Due, I think, if you really want to, quote unquote aura gamble. But no, I'm just joking. Obviously, you'll have Mbappe in your team. I would probably just I would just go Luis Diaz. I think he's still the talisman of the team. Still gets a lot of chances. has a good chance of actually progressing over the next 2 rounds, more so than some of the other picks. Like, for example, if you go for a German pick, I think still, like, I would bet Luis Diaz does better versus Switzerland on paper than, let's say, a German midfielder does. So that's kind of why I like Luis Diaz more. Bellingham is also a fantastic option too, to be fair, if you want to apply that same logic. So, yeah, I would say Bellingham or Luis Diaz. Medina's 13.4% owned. Yeah, but he's also very cheap, right? He's 4 million compared to, let's say, Lissandro 4.6, Romero 4.9. Why no German players? Because I don't really want to have German players versus France. Am I using my booster? Yes, I'm using the qualification booster. Is Crepeau a good pick as well? Yes, he is. He's a solid pick. I think he's probably the third, fourth best goalkeeper in terms of scout bonus ones. How come no Manzambi? Scout bonus has been lost. So I kind of think I still prefer Pulisic. Thoughts on Ryan? He's not a midfielder, right? So I think as a forward, I don't really like him as an option. I'm using my qualification booster right now. Best English defender. Probably Konsa before scout bonus is lost. But then I think after that, I would say O'Reilly. Why does everyone avoid Haaland? I mean, he's Haaland. To be honest, I'm just a bit biased. I'm just going for Oyarzabal because of bias. I think Haaland's wonderful. As I said, I'm going Konsa until Konsa's above 5% in ownership. And then I'll probably go Nico O'Reilly. Or maybe I'll go Munoz. Why take Medina when he's no confirmed starter? I mean, who says that, though? What makes Medina not confirmed as a starter, I guess, is my question. Kane versus Haaland? I personally would prefer Haaland for this match day, but I think Kane's got better chances of progressing for the next 2 rounds. Spence, I think, is a solid spot. I think Kwanzaa seemingly has an ankle injury, and that probably means he's a risk. Is this my final draft team first PD? Not 100%, because I think I'm waiting for some of the ownership, like the ownerships to change over the next hour, basically. Is Rashford a good differential pick at 2%? I think he's a solid one. I guess my complaint with England as a team is that they've like consistently underscored expectations for this market, so that's not ideal. And obviously, you can make the same argument about Spain, but I'm biased, obviously. FPL Nightmare, just want to wish you all the best for the knockouts. You're also Medina and a bit nervous of Tagliafico. I think it's worth the gamble. I mean, Medina's played well in both of his matches. You know, there's nothing that really suggests that Medina should be benched. And at the end of the day, he's a better defender than Tagliafico. So, yeah. He got an assist in the Austria game, didn't he? And then he had a yellow card, so I think he was subbed off for fairly obvious reasons. I wouldn't be too worried about him. Scouting bonus is overrated. I mean, I feel like over the course of this tournament, I think it's definitely not been overrated at all. My constant scouting bonus makes him better than Nor, but Robinson, SP, some set pieces, and better X-Men on over Dest. Well, I mean, the thing is, Dest is literally playing right wing, right? Whereas Nico Riley at the end of the day is still just your box crasher from left back. Like Dest is still like spamming sort of open play shots and things like that, or creating chances. So like if you went on like a bookies market right now, you would literally see that Dest has probably like an anytime goal assist of like 6/4 or something like that, whereas Robinson's like far short of that. Whereas the gap between like, let's say like Nico O'Reilly and Konsa is not massive, because obviously Konsa's also got a big head for set pieces, that kind of thing. Doué or Bruno G? I would probably go Doué. You get your point about cheap goalies, but also wouldn't want to avoid using transfers, switching more risky teams rather than the Simon per se. Yeah, but you also spend more money there, right? So then I guess as we go deeper into the tournament, you spend more money in the outfield positions. Like you kind of might have goalkeepers stored up in those kind of spots, and I think it isn't super worthwhile. Like for example, probably the next stage you're gonna go quadruple Argentina, and that's gonna be potentially like a bit more expensive, right? Or I don't know. Let's say if you go quadruple France, you have to spend a little bit more money. And yeah, I think that does sort of make things a bit more difficult. Choose one, Molina or Medina. I'd probably go Molina because he's got scout bonus. Opening this live makes me understand why SG Kunst is close to 5%. Paulo Teixeira Sorry. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Martinez. Martinez, Vargas, Des, Kimmich, Kukurea, Alfonso if he starts. That's true. We do get the Canada lineups. That's a good point, actually. We might have to go late stage Davies. Medina, Manzabi, Dembele, Elise, Yamal, Diaz, Messi, Mbappe. I think that's a great team, personally. I mean, do you necessarily? I mean, I would not say you necessarily need to go triple Spain. I think maybe double Spain is probably good enough for a lot of people. But if you like triple Spain, I think that's solid. Oyarzabal for Kane. I mean, the problem with Oyarzabal for Kane is that they're not the same price. Llorente to me is nailed. Is Theo out of my team because of rotation risk? Yes, partly also. I also wanted to just go more heavily into France. Rohit, sorry about that. Yeah, no love for KDB or Trossard right now, just because I think that the Belgian game's a bit tougher now that it's Senegal. Pretty bad luck, to be fair. What do you think about Enzo Fernandez versus low block? I don't feel too much about it, to be fair. I guess I've not been enthralled by him watching him in an Argentina kit. It's very different to kind of like, Chelsea Enzo, if that makes sense. Kane or Holland? I think it's very close. It's basically 50-50. I think Holland just has less chances of progressing, but I probably would back Holland to score more than Kane. Why not Balogun over Orzal? Well, I'm just biased and I'm Spanish. That's pretty much it. If you had more budget, what would I change? If I was like seriously playing for absolutely everything, I would probably just go Kane for Orzabal. I would go Elise for Doué. And I would go... I think that's it, really. I think that's it. On paper, you could, I guess, just go for the English goalkeeper over the USA goalkeeper, but I'd still keep Vargas. Isn't Doué minutes risk? Yeah, he 100% is minutes risk, so that's a gamble for me. Do you have a graphic with round of 16 probable matches and progression percentage for round of 8? Not really. Not really, no. Yeah, the Spain jersey is nice, man. I quite like it. I am planning to get... If we actually have a successful tournament, I am planning to get the away jersey as well. You check Pulisic minutes, which he played, and knowing that he has an injury prone makes me worry. I like your drop. What do you think about Rashford? You can go for it. I mean, Pulisic has been injured during the tournament, so obviously that doesn't help. But yeah. How much do I have in the bank? Around 0.4 million. Thoughts on Sleeper for Canada? Not that intrigued by him, to be honest. When should I max captain? Probably in the last 2 stages of the tournament. Wait, Fran, why aren't you playing? I mean, as in, like, to me, if I was playing, like, limit testing, if that makes sense, like, playing maximally for points, I probably wouldn't have, let's say, gone Oyarzabal last stage, and I probably wouldn't have Oyarzabal this stage. I'd probably have Balogun instead if I wanted to, like, ignore Kane. I think that's the best way to do it. I just think that I'm kind of playing slightly suboptimally whilst maintaining triple Spain, and I don't think for a massive sort of expected points loss. So what I'm really saying is, I guess I'm creating like on paper in my head the best draft possible that still has like 3 Spanish players that I like or 2 Spanish players that I like, that kind of thing, for most of the rounds. Baena is so cheap and Nico's injured. I don't think he's nailed, because like just to let you know, I mean like Baena isn't particularly rated by the Spanish national team, but of course like we've tried everything else and it's failed, right? So for example, Gavi, we played in Matchday 1 because I think part of that was because we just weren't interested in what Baena has to offer, but as a result of all the injuries, and because we don't play Ferran Torres on the left, Baena seems fine. I mean, I could see a world where maybe we play Olmo on the left, but yeah, Baena's fine. I just think his chances of getting an attack and return are pretty poor for Spain. Like, he's not really like an extremely attacking player anyways. He's more of a creative player, and he's not really a goal threat because Muslera is not ideal. USA triple up. I mean, it's not that dangerous, right? Because I think USA would probably stand and fare better versus Belgium in the round of 16 than, let's say, Canada would, for example, in the round of 16. So the whole point, I guess, of going for US picks is that even if they're going to face off versus Belgium, I wouldn't feel too bad about it because they're still going to play in the round of 16, and then I'll probably only have to take out my US players in the quarterfinal. Greetings from the Canary Islands. Great team go Spain. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. Tesco Valley Baked Beans. Thoughts on Vargas? Very solid pick for sure. Why is nobody going for Verts? Yeah, I mean, I don't think Verts is really a lock when it comes to bookies odds. I think part of it is because people are not pricing in. People are trying to price in like the value of what Verts is in Matchday 5, right? Which is not a lot when it comes to him playing versus France. Thoughts on Jonathan David? He's great, but I'm gonna have to put you in timeout. David is probably I probably prefer Balogun to David, but it's close, especially since you save a lot more money going Balogun. I would prefer Balogun and Elise to Oyarzabal and Doué. Yeah, I would. Generally speaking, I mean, I guess I could go Olmo as well in the midfield, and not have Oyarzabal, but then there's no sort of like for like price player that I'm in love with. Any German attacking midfielders? I mean, I actually would prefer Sani than Verts if you actually went by odds. I don't think Verts' like odds are actually particularly good. Like I think Doué, Yamal, Dembele, Pulisic, Vinny all have better chances of scoring or assisting than Verts. So there's really no reason to go for him. But you might want to go for Sane because of scout bonus. Is Molina a nailed starter? I would like to think so, but that's probably a bit of a gamble. Respect, Lil Bra. Damn, you the best of these YouTubers. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thoughts on McKennie? He's under 1%. I think McKennie's a very good pick. But to be honest, there's not really much. Actually, I think McKennie's a solid pick. Probably actually a bit of an oversight in terms of my cheat sheet. Like he's a solid pick because he's got scout bonus. I do think Pulisic has a much better chance of like getting a return but yeah. You really favor France over Germany, huh? I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, right now France are literally predicted to win the tournament, and part of that is because a lot of models have kind of gone through the number crunching of like how they would fare versus Germany, and they're still expected to come out very strong versus Germany. And ultimately, I don't think we haven't honestly seen a good German performance since Curacao, and that was versus Curacao. So it's kind of similar to Portugal versus Uzbekistan, where I think when Germany have played Ivory Coast and Ecuador, who in fairness both are very good countries and good nations, they've just not looked particularly good. I don't think he's definitely better than Pulisic. If you're talking about Verts, I mean Pulisic actually has better odds of getting a goal or assist than Verts, and both of them don't have scouting bonus. Pulisic is literally on penalties. Douglas Santos tempting. Sorry, he's not that tempting to me, to be fair, because Brazilian clean sheet odds aren't super high. I do think Consa will go above 5%, but we'll probably wait and assess in around 30 minutes and see what happens. Why did I throw Trossard? Because the Belgium Senegal fixture I think is a lot tougher than Belgium, or like on paper, let's say it could have been like Belgium, Iran, or something like that, right? Is Jonathan David nailed? Yeah, he's absolutely nailed. You think Consa will go over 5%? I do, but I'll just wait for that to happen first. Fran, do you think Llorente/Consa stay under 5%? I think Llorente will. I think Consa won't. If I were keeping Teo, which defender goes out for me? It seems like Teo might not start, by the way, Kareem. I think Canal Plus actually tweeted out that they think Dean's going to start over him. So I'd probably go Dean, to be fair. And I'd probably drop Llorente. If you had to pick two, Olmo, Bellingham, Elise. Consa will definitely go over 5%. Why did I throw Trossard? I already explained it. Any Saka interest with scouting bonus? Not really, because I still feel like he's not playing particularly well. He's clearly struggling from that injury. I don't know if Madueke might start again. I don't think it's that crazy. You're struggling on money, or Sabal and Johnson or Dustin Balogun. I mean, Dustin and Balogun are perfectly fine. Alonso Davies is starting? Really? Wow. Okay. We might have to be there. Is that confirmed? Where are you seeing that? Is that Fabrizio? Because Fabrizio, I think, tweeted last time. He said that when... Where are you guys getting? Let me look at Davies. I just want to say actually, like Japan have been a really solid defense. I don't see anything about Davies suggesting that he'll start. So let's just wait for the lineups. I've been baited. He said in an interview he was playing but the lineup is about to be announced. I mean, yeah, playing is different to starting. You think Dewey's going to open? I think he should start, yeah. Guys, I did get this right. Will your vice captain not get double points if your captaincy didn't play? If you've changed captaincy at least once, your vice captaincy won't work. Thoughts on 1, Undav, 2, Saliba, 3, Munoz? I think Undav will be off the bench and probably not an ideal pick. Yes, of course, he's been incredible off the bench, but I don't know. I just think it's so hard to always bet against, of course, like to bet against like starting players basically, and that's my issue with Undav. Saliba, I literally have no interest in him. Munoz, I know Saliba's on a couple set pieces, to be fair, but I just think there's a lot more picks with like a lot more kind of goal scoring upside than Saliba, right? At the end of the day, like he's just a regular midfielder. Like I think what you saw in the Swiss game is probably a good reflection of what Saliba can do. You know, more someone who's likely to score an assist than someone who's going to score like a direct free kick goal, and get that sort of attacking upside. So if you're happy with someone who's like more likely to get an assist and probably get like the 7 points just like last match day, then I think it's ideal. But I do think there's a lot more options who on paper have much better chances of scoring a goal and probably will. Do transfers carry over? I don't think they roll. Teo Hernandez is not starting. Yeah, that's what Canal Plus have tweeted. They've suggested that Dean is probably going to start. Destin 10% I still think is worth it because some of the goal/assist odds I've seen are crazy for him. We have the confirmed Canada lineups. Is that what someone said? I don't see it on SofaScore yet. It still says possible lineups, unless I'm wrong. Ruben Vargas for Pulisic. I probably would still go Pulisic. Because I think the Swiss game also got a lot tougher than anticipated on paper. Which team has been the most disappointing thus far? Let me actually have a think about this. I guess Uruguay, to be fair, right? I mean, how could that not be disappointing? Yeah, I would say Uruguay. I think Portugal have been a little bit disappointing. I think Spain, we've been a little bit disappointing as well. I think Germany have been disappointing too. That's it, really. In terms of teams I expected to do well and I haven't seen much good performances from, I'd say all of those teams. Yeah, so I'd probably say like most disappointing, definitely Uruguay. Second most disappointing, I'd say Portugal. Then I'd probably say Spain. Then I'd probably say no. Then I'd say Germany. Then I'd say Spain. Those are the four like kind of big overdog teams that I think have been a little bit more disappointing. At the end of the day, though, I think like the Spanish defense has been really good. So that's like the only thing I can hang my hat on. Like I don't think we were ever dominated in any of the games, but it's just like the attack has just not been there so far. Tunisia, I don't know, but I didn't have crazy expectations of Tunisia to do well because I watched them play versus Belgium in the friendly, and I was kind of shocked at how bad they were. But then they actually just stayed bad. Best under 7.5 mid. You already have Doué. How much is Sane? Maybe Sane, to be fair, 7.4 mil. Lineup out on FIFA. Yeah, good point. Let's have a look. What a shocker. Jonathan Davies doesn't start. But we did know that already. Okay, Cornelius Bombito. Yeah, that makes sense. De Figueroa doesn't start. That's kind of what we expected, right? that maybe the Figueroa's like, because I said on the cheat sheet I wasn't sure if that was the case, but yeah, Bombito comes back in. He's 4.1. Laria is probably the cheapest option, but I think Johnson's probably the best option because especially since Laria is probably good at, like if he gets subbed like for like at left back, then that's Davies there. So yeah, I kind of like Johnston if you want a Canadian defender. Do you think Molina's a sure starter? I do, but I could be wrong. Miles' creativity is, I mean, yeah, I mean, everyone's football is sort of wasted with Bayern on the left. Odds are high on Dest because he plays out of position. Yeah, we know that, but I'm not sure what's the concern there. Bruno G, isn't he a steal for under 7.5? I think he is, but he's kind of like the Saliba type for Canada, where it's just like box to box and kind of stuff like that. Is the volume lower than usual? Possibly. Is it better now? Oh, maybe I need to actually just change my Microsoft default settings. Apologize, one sec. Just give me a moment, sorry. Hmm. Seems like it's... I mean, it's not ideal, but I've adjusted it a bit. Do you guys think this is too much, though? Let me know. Do you think the volume... Yeah, just let me know if the volume's too much, and otherwise I'll just tweak it. What do you think about Brobby? Solid pick, but I'd prefer Balogun. Why Dust over Freeman? I mean, it's a right winger versus not a right winger. Why Dewey after Elise? Price point and scouting bonus. Why not Martinez, the Argentina defender? Because he's more expensive and the fullbacks probably have a better chance of getting a return. Why not Kane? Money and I guess bias towards Orzabal. But yeah, I think Kane's great. Too loud now. What can I do? Let's see. I mean, I guess I can't please everyone, so I'm just going to change it back to the previous volume. Apologies. Hopefully this is fine. Slightly lower. Why Pulisic no scouting bonus? He's still one of the best projected players to do well. Johnson's a great pick. I'm not afraid of Porto. Nope, I'm not. Why France players are locked? What do you mean by like why are we going for France? There was nothing wrong with it in the first place. Okay. Thoughts on Mojica? Solid pick once again if you want to save money. I don't think Pulisic is over if he's over 5%. I would still like to have him. It's bad again. Oh no. Are we really having mic issues today? Oh, I don't know. Too low. Okay, am I getting trolled? I can't tell. I apologize, to be honest. If it's too loud, just turn down the volume. Okay. Put it back to default. We don't need to hear every lip smack. Okay, fair enough. Manzambi or Trossard? Probably Trossard. All right, no, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you, guys, for the reassurance on the mics. This guy's a trolling. Thank you, guys. Better to have higher volume. Yeah, I did see what Canal posted about Dean. Llorente or Kubarsi? I'd say Llorente if he has sub 5. So we're gonna wait 20 minutes and then we'll find out whether, of course, like Consta is gonna be you have your own volume up. I'm gonna get a drink though, one sec. I'll be right back. All right, let's see. I mean, if you're gonna ask me a question and you're not gonna listen to the answer, there's literally no point, Abdul. So why have you asked all these questions? How do you feel about Colombia and their fixtures? I think Colombia is an amazing team, to be honest. Um, I think Colombia is probably a team that I'm kind of. It's hard, right? For example, Colombia are probably as good a team to sort of back than I think they're probably a better team to back than let's say the USA. But I think the value of the USA defense is that they are cheaper. Um, I think USA probably still have a better chance of actually beating Bosnia than Colombia, so that's the advantage. Um, yeah, I did see the Canal Plus post, by the way. Top three midfielders under 8 million. I think Pulisic won. I think Due then Sane probably would round up my top three. But I can see people saying Enzo Fernandez as well, or if somebody wants to kind of punt on Olmo, I think that's also very solid. Olmo's a tricky situation because I think our coach probably doesn't rate Olmo as much as he should, so I don't really want to be biased. Yeah, Alfonso is definitely benched, which is what we expected. Considering Luis Diaz, definitely, yeah. Once again, though, I think I don't see Pulisic as being worse than Luis Diaz, that's kind of why I think I like Pulisic. If you need to change Oyarzabal to some other forward, I would just go Balogun or Jonathan David. I still think Oyarzabal is like one of the top forwards for this week. Just looking at the odds, like I think that reflects that as well. But if you really wanted to get like you could go Balogun, you could go David. In my opinion, you could also go Havertz as well. 12-man Holland or qualification booster. Ooh, okay. Well, you saw a 12-man. Okay. Um, I'd probably use qualification booster myself. Spanish bias aside, Kane/Manzambi or Yamal Balogun? Probably Yamal Balogun. Also hard to, yeah, I don't know. What chip am I on? Qualification booster. Why no McAllister? I mean, he doesn't look that interesting. Like for me, it's like okay, I'm sure one of Enzo or McAllister is going to score, but it's like it's not obvious who's going to, you know, be the one to go for. Why Due? Yeah, I think it's just Due is a risk in my team. I'm fully aware of it. Happy to just have like one little punt in my team. I don't really. I mean, I want to have fun as well, and it's a nice sort of route towards like triples. Sorry, USA attack. Sorry, France. What am I talking about? I mean, someone mentioned McKennie as well. I think Sane is interesting too. Arguably, McKennie might actually be like one of the best kind of cheap budget options in the game. I don't really love Baena. I think I love Spain, but it's like I really just don't think that Baena is very very good. I don't think Orsal was a better pick than Holland, but he is cheaper, so that makes the difference. Due, Pulisic, and Kane versus Elisa, Yamal, and Balogun. Thank you so much for the super chat overvaluation. I think I would prefer Elisa, Yamal, Balogun. Because I think, yeah, with Elisa, you get the guaranteed mins. Yamal's probably better than Pulisic. I don't think Balogun's too far short of Kane. And obviously, like, if I put Kane versus Yamal, I think they're actually quite similar. If Conte hits 5%, am I transferring? Yes, I am. Need help, Fran. I use wildcard instead of 12-man match day 2. When best to use 12th man? Wait, so you've already wildcarded, which is fine. I mean, you could 12th man. I would probably clean sheet the next stage. So you could probably 12th man in the quarterfinal. Yeah, that's probably the best stage to do it. Do I like Canada defense? Yeah, Canada defense is really solid. I think Johnson is probably the best option if you want to go Canadian defense. Hey, friend, I have a serious question. I haven't really watched Balogun, so don't know if his goals have been Fugazi. Would you say he and USA have good attacking threat? No, for sure. I think Balogun has good attacking threat. Yeah, 100%. I'm not. Yeah, I think it's very hard to say that Balogun's a bad pick on paper. When do the percentages get updated? Every hour at the 04 mark. So yeah, Theo Hernandez for the scouting bonus. But did you say he won't start? Yeah, it seems like Luka Dean will actually start. That's what Canal Plus, a pretty prominent French newspaper, have suggested. Or actually, are they even a newspaper or just kind of like an online? I think they're like a TV network, right? Yeah, sorry, more like television broadcasting service. Why Kukurea locked? What do you mean, like why I don't have Kukurea? Is that what you're saying? How would you fit Kane in this team if I had to? Probably drop Due into a cheaper option, and that's pretty much it. I mean, on paper, and also I guess you can also cheap on this team by um dropping Llorente to a cheaper player as well. I think that's very viable. Like you can just simply go for a Canadian defender. You could go for any reason you prefer Konsa over Spence. I don't know. Like, don't you think Kwanzaa could actually come back? Maybe like in two match days time or something like that. Didn't seem like it's like that significant end of injury. I don't know though, but that's just me sort of reading off the Tuchel comments. Llorente should be nailed. Yeah, no one talks about Ismail Sarr. I mean, he's great, but it is Belgium at the end of the day. It's kind of like, for example, like would you back Morocco specifically and Senegal specifically over the other teams? Dembele, Manzambi because they're starters. Yeah, Doué is not 100% starting. That's true. Munoz is a great pick, of course. Optimal USA triple up, probably Dest plus another defender plus Pulisic. Or you could go Pulisic, McKennie plus a defender. Do you think it's stupid I picked a 4.3 million starting defender, but it gives room for Yamal? I mean, no, of course not. I mean, I literally have Dest, right? I honestly think there are some 4 million defenders that are better than like, top end defenders. Like I'd rather have Johnson than Dumfries or Hakimi. Hey Lamby, I'm nice. I'm doing well. Nice to see you. Why Llorente? Why are you saying Poro will play? Based on what? I think Spain is not doing well because of Real Madrid curse. I mean, I think, that really has nothing to do with it, personally. We probably should have called Gonzalo Garcia up, but I don't think it's a huge difference to the Spanish team. Top 4 mid for less than 8.7 mil. Probably Bellingham, Luis Diaz, Pulisic 3. I would probably say Doué, but I'm sure someone would disagree. Isn't Poro do the rotation in? No, he's not. Can we make things work with Dembele, Elise, and Mbappe? Yeah, of course I could do that. All I'd have to do is just drop Llorente. And maybe drop Orzabal to Balogun or something like that. Yeah, no Colombia, but I think it's not because I don't like Colombia. It's just, well, I mean, I do have Colombia. I have Vargas, right? KDB's okay, even if he's over 5% owned. He's decent, yeah. I don't think he's like amazing. Because I do think Senegal's a very tough match. Could Tagliafico start over Medina? I don't really think so. What's your plan moving into the next match day? Not really. I think all the USA picks are perfectly fine versus Belgium. Ronaldo perfecto. Nice. Like in theory, I think Canada versus the round of 16 matchup, or like Portugal, for example, versus the round of 16 matchup, is a lot tougher than bringing a USA player to that Belgium match, where I think it's actually going to be quite an even game. I think people will be surprised, but I think the odds of Belgium USA are actually quite close. I know the head to head's been pretty horrific, but yeah. Vinny, How confident are you Llorente starts over Cucurella? Probably 80%. Yeah. I can't really see why we would start Porro. Llorente. Oh, sorry. You're right, Lambia. Not even showing my bench properly. Yeah, I can't really see why Porro would start. I mean, Llorente had pretty much a perfect game versus Uruguay. One of our best players on the pitch, and he's a much better defender than Porro. Why did I ditch Teo Hernandez? He's not likely to start the next match. Apparently, Canal Plus have said Dean will probably play. Does Lacrosse start? No, I think Saliba will play. The big difference with the France game, I think, is that they had a lot less pressure compared to, let's say, a team like Spain, because they probably also knew that Norway were rotating a bit. Tommy S. Jones, thank you so much for the super chat. Kane, Elise Johnson, or Ursabel Dembele Llorente? I'd probably prefer Kane, Elise Johnson. That's super close though. Like that's two great pairs basically. I kind of prefer Dembele to Elise if I'm honest, but yeah. Molina or Medina, who do I get? Molina because the scout bonus I think is better. Bombito in or no? Bombito's great, but I think Johnston's probably better. Is Mbola worth the striker spot? I would probably say no. I think I'd probably prefer Jonathan David. I probably also would prefer Balogun for sure. Can you make your knockout stage predictions? How do I anticipate using my transfers? I could probably... I mean, I'd probably just get like one more Argentina player in. That's like for sure. Other than that, I don't think there's anything really locked in. But that's kind of the point of like, if you want to set up your team, you don't really want to be booking transfers, right? I literally just went against my team. What do you mean by that? I'm sorry. Or SL or Loud Tower with scouting bonus? I probably still prefer Argentina defense. Just because Loud Tower's minutes are sometimes so poor. I think Medina's for sure playing. Chip for game week 4. Qualification booster. That's the chip strategy I'm using this round as Laupa as well. Kubarsi nailed? Yeah, he's 100% nailed. Holland or Kane? I prefer Holland for this match day, but if you want to save more transfers, maybe Kane's better. Yeah, like I think if you think on paper, like Canada versus Morocco or Canada versus Netherlands, I don't really see Canada putting up a good fight. Whereas I do think USA could score versus Belgium. Who should I put my third forwards? Yeah, De Rolls is not starting. It's Bombito and Cornelius. Cunha is a good pick. I think he's decent. The only problem is like you are kind of like. I think Johnson from Canada is a very good pick. Yeah. What chip am I using? Qualification booster, as you can see here. Does Teo start? It seems like he won't start. Just on paper, I'm trying to think about my team now. So I could always go Lucho, I suppose, over Pulisic if I really wanted to do that, but I'm not in love with that idea. Any reason why Manzambi is not on my team? No, I mean I own Manzambi in other fantasy formats. It's just that without scout bonus, I probably am not going to pick him. Why not Cucurella? Just because you rent a scout bonus. So we'll see in 10 minutes if he loses it or not. Laria for Canada is also solid. Yep. I still prefer Johnson. It's around 10 minutes before the update. It tends to happen at every 04. Is Teo Hernandez nailed? No, he's not. I think Luka Dean's going to start. I'm just gonna pin the Tara Hernandez message so we don't really need to respond to like further chat messages on that. Yeah, man, Zambia like literally like shot up in terms of ownership. I think a lot of people have made transfers based on like they basically sorted their transfers by looking at anyone who's actually gotten points in the last few match days. Because could Montiel not come back in instead of Molina? I don't really think so. No. Vargas or Martinez? Thinking of putting Medina and Martinez to double up on Argentina defense and Munoz instead of Molina. That makes sense to me. What do you think? What's percentage of Molina starting? He didn't start the first game, just second one. Yeah, but Molina actually came on in the middle of the first game, right? And then he started the full second game. Best 4 mil defender? I mean, it still is Johnson, to be honest. You don't really have many other good options at that price point. Because Chris Richards is like 4.1. I mean, how much is Tim Ream? Oh, you could go Tim Ream, I guess. If you wanted to. Yeah, that's probably a good option. Cunha's definitely nailed, yeah, based on the last two performances that he's put out. I do think Llorente will start over Porro. Why Johnson over Laria? He's a lot more attacking. Otamendi now over Romero? I can't really see that. Why would Otamendi start over Romero? Medina's 4. Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Medina is 4. True. Mojica's good as well. I actually forgot about Medina being at 4 million. It just sounds like such a steal. That is ridiculous, to be fair. Medina's probably the best option, yeah. Due is not 100% starting. That's correct. Due better than Verts? I think so, but I'm willing to take the punt. The problem is the downside's going to be pretty high as well. So we could be very wrong on that call. But I don't mind. When percentage... Why Consa? Scout bonus. Quick glance on your cheat sheet. No Julian Alves there, but you have Lautaro in there. I think Lautaro... I mean, to be honest, like I don't see a huge difference between Lautaro and Alvarez. I think Alvarez is just a little bit more behind in terms of his physical fitness, right? Which is why he's played less minutes recently. So that's the only reason why I have Lautaro marginally ahead of him. I think Alvarez could still be kind of coming off the bench because they could still start Almada on the left. So, yeah. Who's better, Vargas or Freese? I think Vargas is definitely better. I don't think Romero's injured. What do you mean? He was just rotated, no? Rested for the previous match? When did Romero get injured? He was on the bench last night. Am I not worried about Lamine Yamal's minutes? I mean, why would I be worried about his minutes? His minutes have literally just gotten better every match, right? Played 76 versus Uruguay, 45 versus Saudi, 19 versus Cabo Verde. So yeah, they're amazing now. He would literally have to get injured for him to have bad minutes. Who do you think will win, Netherlands versus Morocco? Probably Netherlands. Should I go with David or Kane? I'd probably go with Kane if you had the opportunity and the price. How about Baena? I just think Baena is not that attacking for Spain. I know he technically plays left wing, but he's pretty poor. Steven698, thank you so much for joining as the president of the channel. Welcome as a member, and thank you so much for joining us. Best 7 million midfielder, you got Vinny, Pulisic, Dembele, Yamal. Interesting. Probably Baena, Trossard, or Vargas. I probably would feel a little bit better just going Trossard personally. At the end of the day, I think Trossard would still give me the most comfort as a pick. So I'm trying to scrub for some additional news if we can have anything that like pertains to other teams and things like that. Can't really see too much, to be fair. I mean, maybe I'm trying to read into like the Kwanzaa situation as well. It doesn't really seem like there's a huge update. Hmm. I mean, maybe we could just go Jed Spence, to be fair. I just want to wait for ownerships to update in 2 minutes, basically, as well. Why not O'Reilly? Yeah, he's a great pick too. Yeah, the sad news about Gakpo's terrible, of course, terrible news. I have read that he's staying with the national team, so obviously it's just terrible news. But what do you mean? Who you captain? The one who plays first? Did I say something about captaining? I must have zoned out, or maybe I was thinking about another different game mode. Am I confident Llorente/Robinson for USA start? Yeah. Dest over Robinson is basically just over indexing on Dest being a right winger and hoping that he gets a lot of attacking returns. Because a lot of the market odds that I see for Destin is like anytime goal, any assist is like freakishly good. You're at 346. Nice. Going for Martinez and freezing goal to try avoid spending transfers on GK is pretty template elsewhere. Yeah. I do think Vargas gives you a really good, excellent opportunity to actually have someone who should be going through the next 2 rounds, though, right? What's the idea of not booking transfers? I mean, the thing is, the whole point of like when you play fantasy games, if you pre-book transfers, the reality is things don't happen the way that you expect, right? So you just leave yourself in a position where you're actually finally incapable of actually making the transfers that you want, whilst having to fix the issues that you didn't foresee. So generally, like any sort of fantasy planning concept should just be, try to reduce the amount of book transfers as possible, because the reality is you probably have to be making transfers you didn't anticipate making. That's probably the only decision making kind of tip I can probably give anyone. Who's beating Spain? Why is it Netherlands? Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Am I sure Llorente's starting? I'm fairly certain he is, yeah. Elise for Douay and Pulisic out for Saliba. I don't love Saliba, but if you want to go Saliba, like I think you're totally free to go for it. I no complaints about him as a pick at all. I mean, Vargas is still a very solid pick, by the way, just because of scout bonus. I think even like some of the Colombian picks that we've talked about, like James, Arias, are on paper like fairly solid picks as well. For a match day like this, Tillman's like not too bad as well. Like he's a midfielder, right? McKennie as well. Yeah, you got some pretty solid picks across the board. Ownership updated. Who's over 5.1%? Oh, mate. Do you guys think Llorente will actually go over 5%? That's the thing we have to do. We have to decide over the next 2 hours. Okay. Should we go Jets? Do you think we should just go Jed Spence? I mean, how could Jed Spence be benched? Genuinely. Can't really see it. We're just not going to get an update over the next hour. Concept to Llorente will be a popular move. You think so? Sorry, not 2 hours. Obviously, I know we've got 1 hour. My bad. Save for price, what's keeping you from Bout Holland? Nothing really. I mean, I think Norway do have some tough matches, though. So progression chances are generally a bit poor. Why do you have the qualification booster in match day 4? Just generally higher chance of getting qualification in this stage, right? So more players that will likely get the +2 for my entire 11. Is Nor an option? Nor is definitely an option, yeah, for sure. The question, I guess, next is like, do I think if I no longer go for scouting bonus players, do I prefer Nico O'Reilly or do I prefer like Daniel Munoz, right? I kind of think I marginally prefer Daniel Munoz. Or do I go Davinson Sanchez again? Lol. It's the last game, right? Yeah, that's gonna make it frustrating, but Munoz will be nice. I still don't really have the money to kind of like upgrade Desiree. I guess I could drop Orisabal. Could just go Balogun. Why can't I? All right, I'm quadrupled. I still really like Dest though. Painful. Guess I could go Johnston. It's just Dest seems like such a freaky pick. Jonathan Tah, I don't really love. I know he's actually probably going to get a 9-pointer or more versus Paraguay. Let me have a think about it. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep Dest. Balogun is nice though. I suppose David is still like a very good pick. I mean, maybe we just go David. Or do I prefer Kai? David has scout bonus, right? Okay, we might actually go David. Because that still kind of gets me what I want, right? Which is like, I can push him to Elise now that I've, I guess, cheapened my team enough. Or like maybe even Mbolo, who's been pretty poor. I think they're fairly close as picks. It's kind of hard to pick like any other forward, really. I mean, someone mentioned Cunha earlier, and I think Cunha is actually really good, but it's still like Japan have actually, I think they're what, like top 3, top 4 defenses in this tournament so far in terms of their XGC, like really, really good. Let me have a look at the Opta World Cup stats. So the Opta have like World Cup stats for teams, right? So if I look at expected goals, oh, you can't really see the goals against. Actually, no, you can look at defensive numbers. Yeah, so you can see It's terrible. Yeah, if you look at expected goals against, Japan's actually second. Then, sorry, so Spain is like 0.54 XGC can see. So that's really good, obviously. Then Japan 1.48, then Mexico 1.5, then England 1.5, Argentina 1.6. So all those teams have been really good. And, you know, surprise, surprise, Congo 1.84, which is kind of why I actually don't really want to go England, because I do think Congo have been a pretty good defense. I know one of the games was versus Uzbekistan, so like when I look at something like that, I kind of think, you know, that's actually a great opportunity to kind of think like maybe I don't want to go too hard on Brazil. Um, but that also makes me want to go Spanish defense, right? Mbolo all returns so far. You mean like returns every single match? I think he's gotten. You love the way I confuse chat. Why is that? Japan's best strength in defense is closing middle third of the pitch. Yeah, I agree. Cunha's a wait and see. Molina, I think, is safe. Why not just get Kane in? True. Must we though? Must we get Kane? I guess my questions are like, do you guys prefer Kane to, let's say, someone like Olise? If you put it like that. I'll actually do that as a poll for chat. I think almost should start, yeah. Because people locked in their team now, and now you change stuff. Yeah. I don't have any issue like changing players in fantasy games. I know Arasabal is kind of our main man. Ugh. Painful. I guess Due could be Lucho at the end of the day. Kane becomes an extra captaincy option over Lise. True. But I don't really see like why Spence can't just be a captaincy option though. So I don't really see what the argument is there. No Spain bias. You have Mbappe out of Elise, Dembele, and Yamal. Which three do I pick? Obviously, it would be Dembele, Yamal, Elise, I think, in that order. David versus Balogun is the only attacking dilemma left. It's a pretty close poll. It's a fairly close poll. Neymar's paying 4 out of 5 to score. Yeah, but the thing is, Neymar's unlikely to even start, right? So it's just like, it's not even a bet that you should really take. Diaz versus Trossard versus Sane. I mean, I'd probably go Diaz. Because I just think Diaz is probably going to have a better match than in match day 5 too. Am I going to burn transfers? I mean, if I want to, yeah, why not? You know what's funny is actually like South Africa actually aren't in the top like 20 teams for goals conceded, like x goals conceded. That's pretty interesting. Okay. All right, we're gonna keep RSL. The only thing I don't really like about going Lucho versus Ghana is like how defensive. Okay, let me just put Elise here. What is the... Ooh, okay. I just need to find 0.4, which I'm sure I can find 0.4. Yeah, I can. I could just do... Oh, I can't do it, can I? Oh, I'd have to go Mojica, which I don't have an issue with. But at that point, I kind of think I might go Johnston. Could also go there, yeah. Go Dean. He's 5 mil, right? Wait, Kukure has 4.5. Oh, you mean price point, right? If you get Manzambi over Pulisic, you can. Yeah, but I don't really want Manzambi over Pulisic. Confident about Colombia? Yeah, I'm pretty confident. Don't boost Johnson's stats. I mean, Johnson's not going to go over 5%. Don't worry about that. No Spain bias. If I'm Mbappe out of Elise, Dembele, and Yamal, which Twitter I pick, I'm just go Yamal, Dembele for sure. I don't think that's even bias. Any news why I changed Due? Nothing really. I think it's just because if I'm not going to spend the money on Llorente and I'm not going to spend the money on Consa, then I can save money and I can just go Elise in the midfield position. Because Due is definitely going to get subbed off earlier anyways. I wish Lukumi was like 4.2 as well. I wouldn't mind going for him either. He's actually a really good player. Go Nico Riley over Llorente. Don't have the money for Nico Riley at this moment in time. Am I using any chip? Qualification booster chip. Do we get more money next round? No, this is it. Have you seen any England starting 11 predictions? I just guess like it's kind of... I'd be kind of shocked if like Spence didn't start though, right? Like, what more options do England actually have? I guess I could, yeah, I could go Davison Sanchez over Spence as well. Like, that's not even a bad idea. It's just, I do think England will probably clean. I think Spence will start. I just can't really see why he won't. We basically, like, you would need like James and Quansah, like one of the two of them to be fit, which is just super unlikely, especially with James having a hamstring. You don't mess with your mind, but you're the one who pointed out Manzami to me before Matchday 1, even though you transferred him out. I really kept him, enjoyed it. No, it's fine. I own Manzambi in some other games that I play where I probably care about the outcome a bit more just because money's involved. But yeah, why not Mojica? I could go double Colombia, to be fair. No Spain bias. I mean, I've literally answered the question so many times. Kubarsi. Consa became 5.1%. Yeah. Just trying to think, like, do you guys think he'll actually get over 5%? That's the problem. Am I using a chip? Qualification booster. Why no Germany? Just don't really want German players versus France. Isn't Munoz more of a threat than Medina? Yeah, he definitely is. But Medina's got better clean sheet odds and better chances of progressing to the next 2 rounds than, let's say, Colombia do. Surely Lucho over Pulisic every day of the week. Yeah, but they're different price points, right? And I don't think that's necessarily true in terms of every day of the week. Konsa right back. Guehi. Ooh, Stone's right back. I see what you mean. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I feel like you just got to go with Kane, like you done with Trossard. Well, I don't really feel the same pressure to go Kane at all. Trossard for me was an absolute lock last match day. I don't really see Kane as being a lock. Just need to pick one more defender, which, you know, we'll get there. We will get there. I mean, I now basically have 2 final Colombia players, which I think is okay. I mean, I could just go Munoz at this point. Probably feel better about owning Munoz anyways. And then I can just go... Yeah, we could probably go Johnston. Can't be that bad, can it? Maybe we go Laria. Difficult decision. Even lower ownership? Why not? No way Stone's a right back. I mean, he literally played Quansa at right back, so he could do it. Will Argentina beat Cape Verde? I mean, if Argentina don't beat Cape Verde easily, then we might as well call it a day. Why Dest over Freeman? I mean, Dest is literally a right winger. So I think Medina starts over Tagliafico. Yes, I do. Molina or Medina if I had to pick. Probably Molina. Molina doesn't start over Molina doesn't start over Montiel. Tagliafico's back over Medina. I'm not sure if that's true. Trust me, take Robinson instead of... Robinson's like literally 5 mil. I would just pick Molina for sure at right back. Why no Trossard? I think it's a tougher game, to be honest. Makika for Colombia is good as well. Yeah. I think I'm fine with having double Colombia defense, though. Am I playing the qualification booster? Yes, I am. Take Robinson from USA. Sanchez over any Canadian. Colombia just very strong. Yeah, well, I've got Munoz at the end of the day. O'Reilly or Munoz? I'd probably prefer Munoz. He's just more attacking. I don't get it. So Tagliafico coming back last match, what does that even mean? He literally played in a fully rotated XI. I guess I see what you mean, though. He did come on the second match though, no? I thought Tagliafico came on in the second match as well. Gakpo now in scouting bonus. Yeah, the problem is he's a forward. If he was a midfielder, we would probably own Gakpo. Saka has to start. I think he should start, but I don't know. Vargas is a good pick. If I drop Medina, I'd have to... I mean, I have to go Leach at that point, yeah. Or I'd have to just change my midfield again. I don't know why I literally wrote that out. Lol. Yeah, we could just go Martinez. And that just means... That's annoying, though. Probably gonna actually like aggregate some Argentina newspapers and just see. What happened to the Viking? Oh, we don't have him right now. We've got the Viking or Sabal. I don't think Laria is really at minutes risk because Davies kind of could play in an attacking position, right? Davies tends to actually play. He tends to play like left wing for Canada. Or am I wrong? I'm fairly certain he doesn't really play left back too often for them. Because in the Copa America when I was watching, I think he's probably playing like a mixture of left back, but like also I saw him play like attacking mid kind of. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess that could hurt Laria. But do they even risk him? We can check Discord for sure. Teo Hernandez is not going to start, I think. It seems like. I think Molina should be nailed. Oh, this Tagliafico thing is actually a bit annoying as well. The other thing I have to say is like, I don't think it was that impressive yesterday either, but... All right. Johnston or Laria, I probably would prefer Johnston for nailed minutes. Millar has been... Davies comes in for him. Yeah. Am I not keeping Llorente? Probably not. I'm not frozen. I'm just thinking. Deep in thought. Hig TV1, can keepers 4.9%. I actually think he won't. I think he'll probably lose it. So I would probably move away. Connor Ryan says, hi, Fran. I'm torn between Danilo in defense versus Cunha in attack. I have Vinny Jr. and Bruno G, who can only take one. I mean, do you need to triple up on Brazil? I guess I'd probably pick... I mean, I'd probably prefer Douglas Santos for Brazil than Danilo. And this Danilo is a lot more cheaper. Discord as well. I think you can actually keep Gakpo, Robert TG, by the way. Hakima to Molina is definitely something you should do. I don't think you necessarily need to -4. I think Oyarzabal is fine. I don't even think you need to transfer Gakpo, by the way. But Gakpo to Pulisic is a nice move. That is a really top. That's a top move for me. Yeah, if you can make a move like that. I've personally gone. What did I do? I did Bruno to Dembele, and I did Hakimi to Molina. That's what I've done. I actually think I'm just gonna keep Medina in my team. Why am I stressing over this? Ugh. How do I get captain role in Discord? I think there's like an automatic sync function, but I should be able to just, you can just DM me on Discord and I can just change it for you. Bro, take Martinez and Sanchez, double Colombia. What do you mean by Martinez and Sanchez? You mean like... Do I need Elise? Do I trust Canal Plus or get trolled? How much is Romero's ownership? Whoa, could Romero actually drop? I don't think so, right? Has he been dropping? Let me check Romero's ownership. Whoa, it's been actually dropping every hour. But not enough. Hmm. Yeah, because Romero was 6% yesterday. So he's dropped a fair bit. Interesting. But obviously he's a lot more expensive too. Probably think I'm actually... Okay, if I trust this... It's still like pretty bad. Because Elise does kind of like pinch my team. Same with Oyarzabal, I guess. That's what, like those are two of the problems that I have. I do really want to have Oyarzabal though, just being serious. I don't think Austria particularly good. I've also seen Spain beat Austria like 5-1 recently. Fairly certain Oyarzabal did pretty good there. Sorry, not recently. What was our recent score versus them? It's like 3-1 or something like that. We actually haven't gone head to head at all. Maybe I'm just smoking something. Interesting. Okay. Nemeka's decent. Yeah, Nemeka's decent. Who am I putting on the bench? It's just gonna be sorted by date. Also on Sanchez versus Munoz. I think if you can spend the money on Munoz, I would do it. But if you don't want to, you can go for it. Pulisic better than Balogun? I think so. Yeah, the 5-1's in 2009. Please stop spamming chat. I literally answer your question every time. Sorry, man. No English defensive assets. That is something that I'm considering as well. No, I know it's 17 years ago. I'm actually probably misremembering then. Who did we beat 5-1 recently? No one really. I guess the Dutch, we beat them 5-1 once. Anyways, doesn't matter. Why is Pulisic better than Balogun? I do like a pen taker and a midfielder. That would be a great pick today. Yeah. Do I like Saliba as a cheap midfielder? Not really. Not really. Not really. Okay, if I can't go Medina, I think I just have to stick with Molina. Ugh. I mean, surely I can go Spence, right? Can't be that bad. All right, let's just go Sanchez for now. Go for a triple Colombia defense, and then we'll figure it out. I don't even know if I go Elise at this point. Could maybe just see myself going Due. All right, going back to just some basic clean sheet odds here. Just back some good teams. Colombia actually have worse clean sheet odds anyway, so I might just go. But then actually Sanchez has scout bonus. Forget it. Just go O'Reilly. Because that still gives me an English captaincy option. Do I want to over-index on Spain? Surely people can just be nice and not own him, right? Is that possible? I mean, I could risk it. But I still want Argentina here, so it's just Martinez for now. We're just chancing Due for one game. If it's so bad, then let's just, we can rotate Due out. There won't be a lot of cheap strikers with a good match in the next match day. But will there even be good midfielders? Probably also not. Do we need to triple up on France? Because technically I could go Luis Diaz here. And that might just be better. For like midfield options. Yeah, I don't think that's actually too crazy. If I went for like that as a setup for midfield. You can also go Vargas as well. Stress. You'd go Kukurea over O'Reilly. They're both actually really good, to be fair. It's just that O'Reilly's also cheaper. I'd actually love Lucho if he was on pens. Yeah, I don't think Vargas is terrible. He could actually be a solid option. Like maybe Vargas is better than Due. Or am I smoking? Man, if Due starts, it's just so fun. I'm gonna go Due, I think. Because if he starts, I think it'll just about be worth it. The punt. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with Dest. Do I want to make any final changes? I think I'm fine. I could also go Emi Martinez, but it's just like it just doesn't seem worth it if I've got Vargas as well. He's just too good to kind of pass up. I could go Chaubert though, and that does free up money for me. So that's something to think about. Due or Elise? Probably Elise. I have a weird hatred for England. I mean, Bellingham's literally one of my favorite players in football. but that's interesting. I just think DRC are actually a really good defense. I don't think Medina's more minutes than Molina because the person made a good point that Tagliafico should have been their first choice player. I mean, saying Senegal versus Belgium is super easy. Is like that's a hot take just because I think if you actually believe that, that's like you've got a lot of odds you can take on. Hard to find news on Brown. Yeah, I couldn't see any news on Brown. Nemeka, I think is. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, he's a solid pick, solid placeholder pick. Martinez just for nailed minutes really is kind of what I've gone for here. So I use qualification boost this week. I do think it's worthwhile to do it. I did activate my chip, yeah. I think it's just it just doesn't really show properly. I'm gonna go Dest here. I'm happy with O'Reilly, I think, because I still need to have English picks. It's very likely that Munoz is a very good Colombian sort of captaincy pick compared to, let's say, the goalkeeper, so that's good. Got Messi for captaincy there. We've got Orzabal/Yamal for captaincy there. Vinny as well. Pulisic is one. Maybe Dest is a good captaincy option. Barcola or Doué? I think Doué starts, but it's hard to say. Like, obviously, it can go brutally wrong, and it could look pretty stupid. Belgium have drawn one of the best third place teams. Yeah, I do think that the matchup was very tough for Belgium, which is why like I don't have any Belgium picks right now. If you're going qualification boost, does that affect SB? No, it doesn't. Why not Spence? To be honest, I don't know. I guess there's no terrorism around. Like, could I just think like Tuchel seems pretty happy to not play Spence, or like to find ways to not play Spence, if that makes sense. Trying to think what would happen if I like dropped one of my other USA picks. Like say, no, I don't, and then if I go Balogun, because that would get me to Elise, but I don't know if Elise is like screaming differential or like sorry essential. Munoz I like as well. Because in place of Martinez, I can obviously go for a lot cheaper of a defensive option from Colombia, but then it's like, what's the point? Because I mean, Martinez can still rack up some saves, and everyone has double Argentina defense anyways. And then if you have Vargas, I guess you always play the Argentina defense first. It's not too bad. Why do I over Bellingham? It's a fair question. I think Doué has like much better odds to actually do well versus Sweden than Bellingham versus DRC. As much as I love Bellingham. Drop to Pulisic for Lucho feels good. That's nice. Still quite like Pulisic. Yeah, Teo Hernandez has been suggested to be on the bench and that Dean might start versus the next game. Ornstein tweet about Diomande. Where is he going? Or what's going on? Okay. I guess we could drop Doué. I think Dust is locked. I mean, is there any other way around Argentina? Maybe not. I do need to find one more midfielder that I'm happy with. It could unironically be double USA midfield. I would get roasted for that, wouldn't I? But it would be funny. It would be funny. Yeah, maybe Lucho's actually the one. Lucho or Bellingham, basically. Kind of stuck. It's like, I think the thing that's like scaring me in my head is like, yeah, I've got like triple Colombia, but it's like, it is a good game. Like, it is Ghana at the end of the day. All right, back to chat questions. Why Trossard out? I just think it's a tough match for Belgium. They unfortunately drew one of the toughest opponents that they possibly could have got from a third place team. Manzambi's good. Molina, I think, should be nailed. If he's wrong, if that's wrong, then that's just my bad. But yeah, I do agree Medina might not be nailed. Happy deadline day. Any reason for free Civic Repo? Just better chances of progressing to the round of 16 for the US. Because I think, on paper, Netherlands, Morocco, much tougher matchup for Canada than Belgium is for USA. Thoughts on Sanchez versus Munoz? I think they're both good to go. I think just, back, I would prefer Munoz to Sanchez, but if you ultimately want Munoz for money, I mean, to save money and go Sanchez, it's fine. Like, if you watch the Portugal game, Sanchez could have scored in that game. Is this my locked-in team? I'm finalizing it, basically. Why not Baena? Because he's been a little bit of an eyesore, to be fair, for Spain. Using a chip? Yeah, qualification booster chip is what we're using. Why not Konsa? Could be scouting bonus too. Do you guys think he'll actually drop back into scouting bonus? I would be so pissed if he actually did. Thoughts on Dest or Spence? I'd probably go Dest. You and Trossard have a bond science can't explain. Not really. I actually absolutely used to hate Trossard because he ruined my 24, 25 FPL season. But yeah, he redeemed me a little bit last week. Not too bad. I guess I could go Dani Olmo for the love of the game. All right, let's just keep it at. Why the big push for US assets? I mean, they're not going to face Spain. It's literally Belgium or Senegal. And then they face Spain later, but that's so later down the line in the tournament where you've got 4 or 5 free transfers. It doesn't really matter. The Egypt keeper is actually a great way to save money. What is he, 3.5 or something like that? I mean, I guess we could go for the, but if I went for the Egypt goalkeeper, I think I'd actually have to go Emi Martinez. I guess I could do that. But see how that just still requires me to spend so much money. It is ridiculous. Yeah, tricky. Could always drop Pulisic or drop Orazabal. But this way I could actually go. I don't want to drop Orazabal. Oh, it's painful. But they're literally against Bosnia, so why not? This is not awful, I think. Yeah, I could just go an all-in USA versus Bosnia because I think what I'm basically saying here, Bosnia have been a terrible defense, which they have been. Don't feel too bad about this. But I don't have my lovely Oyarzabal, which is a pain. A source of great sadness, let's just say. And then Chaubert, I don't even like him as a pick. It just feels pretty horrific. But you do have Martinez the whole way. No Germany assets. Yeah, I don't love it. I'm hoping Arsenal drops a hat trick so you can stunt these non-believers. Oof, that's fighting words. I love to hear that. But I probably just need to fix the Medina situation. So, do you guys think Llorente will actually have scout bonus? People prefer Kane. Triple USA I don't think is crazy. Generally, it's not. I mean, USA literally have a top 5 goal projected game on paper, which is shocking, but it's true. That's basically how poor we think Bosnia are. I think people are actually underrating USA. That's booking a keeper transfer. All right, fine. Let's go freeze Vargas again. You guys think Llorente won't keep the ownership thing? Concept will gain scouting bonus. Llorente will lose it. Are we sure about that? Oh, we could go Spence. I mean, surely he has to play Spence. If he doesn't play Spence, then I guess I'm just stupid. Fine, we can go Spence. And then we go Martinez, right? Oh, we need to change Consa. Yeah, we can go Licha. And also just still go. I want to go Llorente. Oh, revert. Saliba and Molina. You don't think Llorente will lose it? Yeah, I think I'll just keep it like that. Just need to sort the date order. No, that's fine. Cool. I'll probably keep that. Can we know the starting 11? Yeah, this is it. As a Canadian speaking from experience, Bosnia is going to sit in the lowest block possible. Yeah, but the thing is, Bosnia is in the lowest block possible, and they're still actually a pretty abysmal defense, though. Like, I think, for example, like you watched the Canada game. Jonathan David probably should have scored that game, right? What happened to Munoz? ADHD guy. Interesting. Thoughts on Ecuador defenders? I think they beat Mexico. I think they're solid, but I think with the wild card, I probably wouldn't go for them. Trossard replacement? I think you can just keep Trossard. There's nothing wrong with him. Why not start Argentina? Because they literally play last. Kane and Manzambi or Balogun Yamal? Probably Kane and Manzambi. I probably actually prefer Balogun Yamal, sorry. Just to go back on that one. You got 4.2 million. Do you go Johnston, Mojica, Freeman, Medina, Ryerson? I probably would go Mojica. Cunha should still have scouting bonus. Saka versus Due head-to-head, price aside. The result is 5.1. Saibari will be the pick. Interesting. Just wanted to ask if you prefer Havertz plus Pulisic plus Dest or Verts plus Balogun plus Kimmich. Probably Havertz, Pulisic, Dest. Why don't I have Manzambi? I've betrayed him. How are you sure that Molina plays 60 minutes? I mean, I'm not sure, but it's something that I think will happen. Why is Medina in doubt? I guess Tagliafico is right there, to be fair. And he was previously the starting left back before his injury. So why the decision behind Molina over Medina? I think Molina is more nailed. Is Cunha valid? He's 4.7 now. He probably... Let me see what Cunha's rising has been. Yeah, he's actually been rising a lot, though. So I think Cunha could be tricky. Could be tricky for sure. Yamal or Dembele? Are you concerned about Spain's performance against Uruguay? I think we'll step up a little bit more. So I'm not too worried about that. Vargas in? What, like goalkeeper wise? Yeah, Vargas is great. If Llorente loses scouting bonus, I'm actually going to feel so bad about it. I mean, Yamal literally has more predicted goals and assists than Elise. So you can just quickly go on any bookie market and you'll see that. I mean, Yamal's also on penalties for us, so that's kind of a large reason why he's expected to do well. I mean, what can I change? Spence. Do you guys actually think Spence is like actually turbo nailed, or are we just trolling here? Those are probably the last two picks here. No playing player today. Not really. I mean, I guess I could have a Canada option, but I don't want one. We could go O'Reilly. Fine, let's go O'Reilly. I don't think Llorente is actually gonna stay up. Like I don't think he'll actually be like sub 5. Every experience I've had in the deadline is like someone like that just goes up. It has to be Noor from England. Am I using the boost? I'm using the qualification boost, yeah. I guess the problem with Spence is like, could he actually start in 2 matches? Please decide fast. We've got 4 minutes. We're all good. We're all good. All right, let's just do that. And Llorente is probably a worse attacker than Munoz anyways, so the only change I'll make here is, I do need to start this over that. Pickford is solid. First match day, tons of the 5% drops back under it. Yeah, but the problem is Llorente is the exact opposite, right? He's 4.9%, so likely to go through. Yeah, I'll probably just get O'Reilly. Well, whatever. Pretty happy with O'Reilly, to be fair. I think Dest is a really good attacker. Molina's a really good attacker. I've basically chosen like everyone who's good attacker except for Martinez, so let's call it a day there. Saliba over Pulisic is not happening, my friend. Massive delay, 4 minutes. What do you mean, sorry? What's massive delay? Is there a massive delay towards the match? Nathaniel Brown. I don't even know if he's even going to start though. No, I agree. Spence isn't trusted by Tuchel, so I think that's very, very clear and evident. Which is why, as I said, if Kwanzaa comes back for the next match, then maybe Spence doesn't even start that match. You're risking Crepo and Llorente at 4.9%. Wish you luck. Yeah, I mean we'll stay on 4 minutes and we'll find out what happens to our lovely picks. But yeah, Fon O'Reilly, I'm going Dest, Molina, Martinez. I think I'm pretty happy with this team. Probably the only spot I don't love is Doué, but I mean what? I don't even have. I mean I could actually just go Bellingham, right? Sheesh. Bellingham or whatever. Let's just go Jude. Okay. Okay, we'll go Jude. Since Jude is one of my favorite players, we'll call it a day there. Game on time. Bellingham for Doué. Yeah, we've done that. Pletterberg said Brown will start. Ooh, okay. Are you serious? I need to quickly check that. I don't see anything about him saying. Where did he say Brown starts? I've seen Brown to Bayern, but I've not seen anything about Brown's. No. Oh, the plan is for him to start. It says provided nothing unexpected happens, which is not ideal. All right, anyways, we're done. That's the team. Happy days. Happy days. I mean, I think since my biggest sort of like fear, I suppose, is Kane, I'm pretty happy with this team. All right, so we'll wait 4 minutes and then we'll find out what the ownership percentages are. Seemed that Llorente went through. What do you mean he went through? The ownership doesn't actually change until like 4 minutes later. We get 4 free transfers now, which is nice. Concept gain bonus happened with Laporte in Game Week 1. I mean, we'll see. We'll find out soon. What's your plan for your Spain players when they lose to Portugal? Well, they'd first have to lose to Portugal first, so that is no plans right now. Gambled on KB dropping under 5%. Do you think he'll actually do that? What was he, like 5.5% like an hour ago? I mean, Romero seemed like another player who could actually touch sub 5. But I really doubt like people don't sell a player as fast as people buy players, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people like will just choose between like 5 options to buy versus, sorry, no, I mean like they'll focus their buys on a certain player, but then sell a myriad of like 1 to 5 players to get that player. But we'll wait 3 minutes and we'll find out. Pulisic or desk captain? Do you not have Vinny? I mean, guys, the website's gonna update in 2 minutes. That's when you actually find out what the final ownership is. You can't actually check now. You can change Doué to Jude in the last minute so people can't copy your team. You change Doué to Jude in the last minute so people can't copy my team. Not really, to be honest. I just change players because why not? The Simpsons predicted Portugal winning it. Fair enough. Simpsons have never been wrong, to be fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with having Bellingham or having Doué, personally. I think they're pretty close as options. I just love Bellingham. And ultimately, I guess I'd rather have Bellingham as in a player who starts than, let's say, Doué, a player who might not start and I look like an idiot at the end of the day. Can we change captain every game? Pretty much, yeah. Like, if you look at it here, you can change the captain, like, from what? This game to this game to this game to this game. Like, none of the games are stacked on top of each other in terms of time. Unless there's not enough space between the 2 of the games. Which I can't see that being a case for any of the matches here. None of them are, like, stacked on top of each other. And they're another evidence of the modern Simpsons being pure trash. Harsh. People should pick their own team. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how fantasy games work. All I can do is give advice, which, that's what I do. You went double Argentina defense? You took the boost so late I missed it. What do you mean boost? I always had the boost on. I also don't stream so that people can kind of have my team. It's not really the purpose of it. Llorente under? Are you serious? Please don't tell me you're being serious. Okay. 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 Fine. That's fine for the sub 5 players. Are you serious? Okay, fine. Wow, Konsa went back 1%, but Konsa didn't make it. Did the... Wow, he was sub 4. Okay. Fair play to the guy who actually went Crepo Llorente. Fair play to that. Yeah, Konsa's over 5. Llorente's under. Pain. Anyone else? Someone said KDB. Oh my... Man. What is this? Man, De Bruyne was the one. Fair enough. Wow, okay. I actually can't believe that. I'm actually so upset. I didn't even... Okay. Wow, people just sold De Bruyne. Wait, Llorente and Concebo 5. Wait, you said now he's... Wait, what? Consa... Oh, it changed again. Llorente. Woo! Let's go. Great moves, great moves. Crepo? Amazing. And what about De Bruyne? No, he's actually sub 5. There's no way. De Bruyne actually finished sub 5. He's the only player who did. Nah. No way. All right. All right. You know what? Things happen. Wait, Llorente says 3. Oh, no, 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 no. That's the thing. That's the thing. Llorente is probably 4.9% in 32. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Maybe Llorente is still 39% because you can't check. I need to find another profile with Llorente. So I would need to go to leagues. Yeah, the matchday selection is what matters. Let's have a look, actually, because I can just go through leagues. Let's go through this league. Okay, can you even see people's teams? Okay, this is so pointless. Round of 32. Why can't I click on people's teams? Okay, silly game. Yeah, actually, yeah. So you need to click onto the player on this week, right? Because it can change. So what's a good example? Like Dest, I guess, is 11.5% here. But if I go to Dest on this screen, oh, he's still 11.5%. I wonder if it's updated. I have Llorente, he's 5% around 32. Okay, fine. It's actually updated. Johnston goal when? You refresh and your rate went to 5%. He's 4.9%. Are you talking KDB or who are you talking about? Llorente? You have him. Leagues are broken. Yeah, the website's not great, is it? It is what it is. We'll just leave it like that then. Yeah, fine. Anyways, if you guys got some more sub 5 picks, congratulations. I clearly don't care anymore. Ha ha ha. Wait, did I activate the qualification boost? What's going on? Surely I did, right? Okay, I did. I think I did. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm stressing out for nothing. It needs to be 4.9%, yeah. 5% doesn't work. This dude is a fraud. Well, that's fine. I'm pretty happy with the team. You can... Why did I take Martinez out? He's here. What do you mean, like Emmy Martinez, or scroll down and click player pool? Yeah, but the player pool is for a different match day, no? The player pool doesn't correspond to the right match day. Because from what I understand, sometimes the match day selection is not synced with, let's say, the round of 16 match day selection ownership. Like a player's ownership can change between match days. But I don't know if that's necessarily still true. Anyways. It's too late now to stress. And it's literally 2 points and a couple changes in players. Who cares? He made people believe he'll select Due. I mean, I could have just selected Due. I literally changed probably 4 to 5 other players as well. Not only Due. Yeah, player pool is not matchday selection. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, Medina. I mean, someone made a good point that Tagliafico might actually just be first choice for Argentina, which I actually agreed with in the end, and ultimately I went for him. Okay, we'll leave it like that. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. The problem is the matchday selection. It usually changes at 04, but maybe it's changing 06. Engagement baiting. I'm pretty sure every single live stream I've done on the deadline, I've changed at least 4 to 5 players every time. Thank you, Nuno Mendes, for joining the stream. Why do we all get spooked with Medina? Watch both fullbacks start. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, right? Llorente completely baited you. Consa on 5%. Hey, we did say Consa wouldn't drop, right? But all right, let's watch the match, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a good week, and I'll catch you guys soon for some more content. So this is my final team. We'll just round off with that, and yeah.